Okay, let's see if I can get this project finished here. I've already had several starts and stops, so I really apologize about that. I'm just kind of winging this one. Usually I record on my Chromebook, but that's not going to work for this because I need to work as I'm recording, and I can't do that with my Chromebook open in front of me. So we'll see how this goes. Anyway, I did cut my stationery paper to size to fit my bathroom tissue roll. And then I used my homemade Mod Podge and my homemade Mod Podge brush, rolled it on there, and it is now drying. It will probably take a little while to dry because it is, although it's hot, it's also very humid because we're going to set this aside for right now. It's also very humid. We're expecting thunderstorms this afternoon, so we'll see how long it takes that to dry. It might take a while. Now, I spoke of writing a note to go in the little envelope that I'm putting in the notebook. I don't know how that's going to work. I thought I had it planned out when I did the first video today, and then I thought, no, that's not going to work because if she uses this thing to write on, then it's going to make her, it's going to make it hard to write in that notebook. So we'll see. We'll just kind of play it by ear. So I scored my notebook, my stationery, and yes, you can see double lines there. I don't know how I managed to measure with a ruler and still get it crooked, but as we used to say in the Southern culture that I was raised, I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. It's really true. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. So we're going to use the top lines here. And hopefully I scored lightly enough. If not, we'll just trash that and we'll go on to something else. So now I got my jar of markers. They are actually calligraphy markers that I got on a really good deal at Walmart. So I usually try to choose a color that's going to, I'll bring this over here, that's going to blend with the theme. And I'm thinking green. It's really kind of a teal, but that's what I'm thinking. And this is the wide tip. This is the wide calligraphy tip, and this is the narrow calligraphy tip. So I'm thinking that we need to use the wide, and I'm just gonna start on the little piece of paper that I cut off after measuring for the bathroom tissue roll. So I really don't know what sentiment I'm going to put in there. I think it needs to be something about teachers are in the business of making heroes, something like that. So let's see how it, and I believe I've already said that my calligraphy went down the drain ages ago. I was taught calligraphy. There was a man who had a huge crush on the cousin I was raised with, and they actually got married as an older couple. And they were both seniors when they got married. They finally it took them that long to get married. But anyway, I was 13 and he started giving me, this guy was a real artist, and he started giving me calligraphy lessons, and he taught me beautifully. But hey, when you don't use a skill, it's apt to go down the drain, and it did exactly that. So I may just try to do a real nice cursive. How is that, people? Is it backward? It looks backward to me. It looks backward. And I don't know what to do about that. I am not skilled at what I'm doing. So hopefully I'll learn. I am kind of fooling with the idea of dedicating a channel to these crafts because they are coping mechanisms. You know, I remember not long, well, it probably was before the divorce. It was before mediation. And my then pastor, a very young man, very sweet man, he goes, "Miss Wendy, you need a hobby." And I said, I had a hobby. It was called flipping houses. Well, that went down the drain, so I had to find something else. And this is what I felt. This is what I found. So, let's see how this goes. You know, and I did do this correctly without knowing it. The flower does not go that way. It goes that way. I just found that out by looking at the small copyright printing at the bottom of the stationery. So it is going to go that way, which is good for our project. It's very good for our project. So thank God. I find that he takes my mistakes all the time and gives me to understand that they are not really mistakes. Okay. I'm going to start and see how this comes out. So bear with me. Okay. So this is what I came up with. And it bothers me because I think y'all are saying it backwards and I have no idea what to do about it. I need to try to find out. But anyway, it says teachers are in the business of making heroes. That's because they are heroes. So I'm not happy with it. The writing is not of the same height. It's not uniform, and you can tell where I kind of tried to fill in some mistakes and it got too dark, like right here and right here on the A. So what I'm going to do is start again, and we'll see how this goes. Okay, I think we've about got it now. That looks a lot better. And God be praised, the ink in the pen matched the green of the leaves printed on the paper perfectly. So I'm very grateful to God about that. Now when that dries, I'm going to take an eraser and go across there. I've got to give it time to dry a little bit. I'm going to go across there and erase those scoring lines that I made with the pencil. And hopefully, sometimes it does kind of fade out the ink when you erase, but hopefully that's not going to happen. So let me take another short break. I'm going to gather supplies and we can get to work on the envelope. Okay, so I had to go back to my craft table. Now, the craft table was straightened up yesterday, but it was not cleaned off. So I had to take a little time to clean the craft table because, to be quite frank, there was a lot of jasper and jade fur up there. And we're going to be working with glue, so that's just not going to work at all. Then I got to looking at the embellished notebook. Now, I don't know if I explained earlier. These are simply the composition books. That's all they are. A friend of mine called me up at the end of back to school, and she said, do you realize they've got those composition books for 30 cents a piece? They were on clearance because school had already started, and they needed to get rid of them. So I bought I was really gung-ho on these embellished notebooks. And I bought a whole case of them, and the case is still sitting around. So I don't know if I'll ever use those notebooks for anything, but yeah, I probably shouldn't have bought a whole case. So anyway, I got to looking at this, and I'm like, okay, this is just not, it's just not working here. So it's going to have to be covered. So I got to looking in my ribbon box, and I found this, and I got this for $1.49 at Walmart. Sometimes Walmart has the prettiest stuff on clearance. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hot glue this onto that edge and work around the stickers that have already been glued on as best I can. So give me a couple of minutes to do that, and I'll let you see how that looks. Oh yes, I think that looks a lot better, don't you? I think that works a lot better. It only took a few seconds to snip it off, and so I'm going to do the exact same thing to the back, and then I'll be back. Okay, now it's finished, back and front. And I don't know if you guys have seen the first video, but there's the inside. And I had found when I had a little bit more money, a lot more money actually, I had found a book on eBay that I had wanted for years, and I was so delighted. Only it was in a set, and I think it was in a set of like 8 books, and I had to buy the whole set to get the one book that I wanted, but it was priced so beautifully that I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I am very particular about my reading material. I've always said that I'll read anything that's decent to read. I did not consider these books to be decent, and so the extra books. Now I got 3. I think it was 3 altogether, 3 or 4 altogether in that set, including the one that I deliberately wanted to begin with. And so it turned out to be a very delightful experience. And the ones that I didn't want, I think they were all hardbacks. Yes, they are. I'm like, okay, I can do the Pinterest purses out of the hardbacks, but these are actually the pages from, and it's a collage, you can see, of the pages from the books that I did not consider to be fit to read. So anyway, and I don't want to sound like a snob or anything like that, but I do try to honor God in my reading materials. So anyway, now we are going to get to work on the envelopes. So give me a couple of moments. Okay, so the envelope I think is finished, because this is actually the way it's going to go in the notebook. So I simply hot glued the same trim that I used on the notebook itself, and I did it on both sides of the flap, because here we have the mucilage, and I didn't want to leave that ugly, that ugly paper strip that they put across there in order to keep it from sticking to the envelope, because it's a self-stick. And so I wanted to cover that mucilage, so that's how I did it. And then, and these are actually not stickers. They have to be glued on, so I glued those on with hot glue as well. And it looks to me like it might have behooved me to bring these a little bit further down to the lower edge, but oh well, so be it. I don't have any more. I can't believe I've used all of them. But I think I may just leave this side, because I'm still a little bit undecided as to where to place this. I would like to glue it inside the notebook itself, but you know, it's already bulky, so I'm really not sure about that. Now it's time for me, I'll think and pray about that one a little bit, but it's time for me to erase those lines on that little declaration or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to do that, and I'll show you how it comes out. Okay, I've erased the lines, and I think it looks pretty good. Again, I apologize if it's backward to you guys, but I'll try to figure it out. But I'm really pleased with how it came out, and I have a bit of an idea about, let me see if I can lean over here a little bit. Now, I want to fold it into thirds traditionally, and then I'm thinking about using this little sticker, not to close it up with like a seal, not anything like that, but just, you know, as an added embellishment for the declaration itself. So let me get that folded properly. Make sure there's no debris left in here. Okay. When I was a kid, the Fort Worth libraries were unreal when I was a kid. And then when they built the big library downtown in the late 70s, early 80s, they brought out a lot of old stock. And my soul, I wish I could go back to that library as it was. I don't know if it's still so cool. Anyway, I pulled out the first book I ever read, and it was written for young people. It was published for young people, and it was Queen Victoria's Letters and Journals. And I was so impressed. I mean, even as a child, this woman was this child was a prolific writer. And so I became obsessed with learning how to write beautifully and send proper letters and stuff like that. And my poor cousin Chuck, he was my victim. He was my victim. And back in that day, you were expected to answer your letters within a week. I think properly, according to, the old time etiquette experts. Emily Post, is that who it was? It was supposed to be in 3 days. And, but he was very dutiful, very conscientious, and he would always answer my letters. So he was my victim. But anyway, so this is how it's folded. You know, traditionally you're supposed to leave a little bit of space down here at the bottom. And so my thought is to put the sticker there. Do y'all think that's a good idea? It's going to make the envelope even more bulky. It may actually make it impossible for me to make it a part of the notebook. I wanted it to be a part of the notebook, but I don't think it's going to be able to be. So there we go. Here's the letter or the declaration. Okay, and then let me reach across here. I know I'm really awkward, people. So we're going to put one down inside the other. And we're also going to leave it a little bit visible. And it's going to look like that. What do y'all think? I really do want input. I really do want input. The last major project, and it was a major project, I found out that my rental is actually zoned commercial. And I'm like, I'm going to get out there with the yard sale quarterly. I may be out there over 2 weeks because it's commercial. They can't, my landlord was on board with it, and she was like, you go, girl. And if they say anything to you, you tell them to come to me. I'll fight it out for you. God love her. I mean, she's been so precious. And so I made up all of this stuff for Valentine's Day. And at that time, I may have had a Facebook account, but I wanted to advertise it on Marketplace. Maybe I didn't have a Facebook account at that time. And I just set up my signs. I set up my tables. I borrowed some tables from friends. And I went to the Dollar Tree and got a lot of pretty stuff to make it look pretty. Obviously, I had more money at that time. And I didn't sell a thing. I had one woman drive past and slow down and look, and that was it. It was so discouraging. I mean, I cried and cried and cried. But it was all this Valentine's stuff, and it was the notebooks. It was stuff like what we're doing now. So in my despair, I thought, well, even if I can't sell it, maybe I can make people happy. So I took it to work. I took it all to work. My boss let me wheel it all in on one of our carts that we used for supplies. And I just left it there, and I put a sign on it and said, take what you want. And the staff had a fit. I think it was more fun giving it away than it would have been selling it. I could have used the money, but God didn't want it that way. And everybody would come and tell me just, what they had given to what relative and how much fun they had with it and how beautiful they thought it was. So I really would like your input on this. I truly would. So let me break for a minute and we'll see how we're going to put all this together. Okay, people. So it's not going to work the way I originally wanted it to. We're just going to have to leave that the way it is, because you can tell that if I try to glue that in there, it is just going to be so bulky that she will not be able to use it. She will simply not be able to use it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just give it to her inside the notebook. Just place it inside the notebook. When she opens it up, it will be there, and she can do with it whatever she wants. I think that that's the best way to go. And yes, I did. Let me take my phone down. Hold on. Okay, so I did just lay it down inside the notebook this way. Because if I turn it that way, it's going to get all creased. So I lay it in the notebook that way, and when she opens up the notebook, it will be there. Give me your opinion. Hold on just a minute. Okay, so I did this. I went ahead and did this without telling you guys about it because I'm running out of time. This is turning out to be a bit longer than I expected. So here's where I hid the gap between the edges of the paper. And then I had some very narrow buff colored ribbon, and I glued that around the top to hide the raw edge. And now, in order to close it at the bottom, I'm not gonna make a box out of it. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I did the last time with the Valentine's products. I'm gonna use my handy dandy little staple gun. And we're gonna staple that closed because it's not gonna hold anything that's gonna really fall through. It's for that necklace, and I'm gonna trim it down at the bottom. So let me do that real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, it's almost finished. Here's the back of it. Here's the front of it. And I simply hot glued all of this, and now, it's fairly well sealed at the bottom. It will carry her keychain, but now I need little handles. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to try to not mess it up too much. I'm going to eyeball it. And I'm just going to use my hole punch. She has a a little girl who might, I want to make this a little bit functional, because she does have a little girl who might actually enjoy, you know, putting some little treasures in this after her mother gets through with it. So let me figure out what exactly I'm going to make the handles out of. I think it's probably just going to be ribbon or embroidery thread, but let me check out. Okay. Okay. So here we are. Oh, got it backward. All right. So I used some Grosgain ribbon, and again, I did that because I thought that, you know, there was a chance that her little girl might want to, you know, use it after her mom's finished with it. I'm going to have to hang it somewhere where these can dry separately, where the ribbons can dry separately from each other, because I didn't have any no-fray. So I was shocked, and I had to use the clear gel tacky glue that's best for fabrics. So it's a little bit messy right now. I'm going to hang it somewhere to dry. And but again, this is just going to go down inside there. As a matter of fact, it can probably just go down inside there now. Let's see how that works. There we go. All right. And I'm sorry for the awkwardness of the video. Try to put up with it as best you can. I'm hoping people won't check out within the first 5 minutes, because if the Lord allows me to keep the apartment and keep my car and get a job and all of the things that I need to do, I do want to start doing these crafting videos, but that's going to take having the equipment that I need and the expertise, and that's going to take a while. But thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for sticking with me. The project is complete, and I will try to give you a little visual of that before I completely end the video. Okay, so here's kind of what it looks like. And again, the keychain's going to go down in the little container. There's a container, and the ribbons are still hanging off the edge of the table because the edges are still drying. Again, it's going to take them a while. And then there's the notebook and the card and the envelope. So again, guys, I hope that you've been able to hang with me. I know that this has been an extremely awkward video. I'm learning as I go along. I don't have any equipment but my Chromebook and my phone. I deeply admire people who can do things like this solely with their phone. But again, give me your thoughts. And I probably ought to go through this video and edit it before I put it up. I'm not going to do that because it's been very time consuming, and I don't want to throw all that effort away. I hope everybody will understand that. Again, thank you all so very much. I appreciate any comments. And let me know if you believe that I should make another channel dedicated to this kind of thing, because it is the most wonderful therapy. And if you've got the money to do it and just give it away for gifts, I mean, it's a very fulfilling thing. But yeah, if you think that I could do like tutorial videos, I know that it wasn't. I mean, it was very awkward because I was pausing and coming back, because at this point I just don't have the expertise to record it while I'm doing most of the work. But again, please let me know in the comments. Yeah, thank you all. I'm most grateful for your patience.